Former President Donald Trump has weighed in to say the number 2 on the ticket, well, they just don't matter that much. She was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden, she made a turn and became a black person, Trump said of Harris. Trump's comments about the value or lack thereof of picking a running mate came as Vance has been in the Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in to day 5 of Founders Month. On today's news flash, we will be discussing Kamala's long anticipated announcement unveiling her vice president. As Vice President Kamala Harris scours the Democratic bench for just the right running mate to join her in the 2024 race for the White House, former President Donald Trump has weighed in to say the number 2 on the ticket, well, they just don't matter that much. I will say this, and I think this is well documented. Historically, the vice president in terms of the election does not have any impact. Virtually no impact. Trump told the National Association of Black Journalists as part of the contentious 34-minute interview, "You have 2 or 3 days where there is a lot of commotion, and then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick," said Trump. Historically, the choice of a vice president makes no difference. You're voting for the president. The Harris campaign announced Thursday morning that she and her running mate would stomp Tuesday through Saturday in Philadelphia, Wisconsin, and Detroit, the Research Triangle in North Carolina, Savannah, Georgia, Phoenix, and Las Vegas. At least some political scientists say the vice presidential pick doesn't typically deliver a sought-after demographic or a critical battleground state, not by themselves anyway. But they can have an impact by shaping voter perceptions of the person at the top of the ticket. Under this theory, Governor Mike Pence of Indiana did not bring evangelical voters to Trump, but he shaped those American views of the thrice-married entrepreneur and reality television star. But voters, these experts note, also appear to care about experience, which falls in line with the current of modern presidential politics. Trump and Pence included. President Barack Obama picked Vice President Joe Biden to signal wisdom and experience. President Joe W. Bush picked Vice President Dick Cheney to send the same message. President Bill Clinton picked Vice President Al Gore, a generational peer with similarly moderate views but more experience on foreign policy. Trump had been asked whether his running mate, since J.D. Vance, would be ready to assume the presidency on day 1 if needed. The former president did not answer directly, focusing instead on the potential impact of a vice president pick on the campaign. In some ways, the conversation was a bit surreal. After the 2020 election, Trump pressured Pence to refuse to certify President Joe Biden's victory. Trump supporters ransacked the Capitol, some of them chanting to hang Mike Pence. Pence's decision to certify the election in keeping with the Constitution stands as one of his most important moments in office. In that way, he's very much mattered. Vance has said he would not have done this same thing. Trump's comments about the value or lack thereof of picking a running mate came as Vance has been in the barrel since almost the moment he was announced as the Republican vice presidential pick. With controversial comments he has made in the past surfacing anew. News outlets have flagged how the Ohio senator once compared Trump to Hitler, proposed giving parents more voting power than childless Americans, mocked members of the Democratic Party as childless cat ladies, then said he has nothing against felons, and floated a federal response to restrict interstate travel for abortion in the context of conspiratorial, hypothetical scenario, among other things. With Harris riding a wave of momentum, Trump's NABJ appearance seemed to shift the focus of news coverage back to the former president, but in a decidedly less flattering light. He basically called into question Harris' racial identity and railed against ABC News correspondent Rachel Scott, calling her questioning nasty and rude, in addition to going after the vice president. She was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden, she made a turn and became a black person, Trump said of Harris. The vice president's mother, who died of cancer in 2009, was an Indian American. Her father is Jamaican American. Harris has embraced both identities for decades. Somebody should look into that, Trump said. Those remarks echoed his embrace of the racist and debunked birther theory that Obama was not born into the United States and was therefore ineligible to be president. He pushed a similar false notion about one of his rivals for the Republican nomination, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. Harris has always identified as both. She graduated from Howard University, a historically black institution of higher education. She pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha, the first intercollegiate black sorority in America. Headlines touted her as the first Indian American senator after she won in 2016 because there had already been black senators. Trump's hit at Harris, though probably shouldn't have been a surprise. He previewed his racial line of attack last week on his Truth Social sites. There you have it, folks. We are looking forward to who Kamala Harris announces as her vice president.
A couple of news organizations confirming it, including the AP. Breaking news, Kamala Harris picks Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as running mate as she looks to boost the Democratic ticket in the Midwest.
For our viewers.
I was going to say, to Ed's point, he sounds like, you know, a football coach talking about.
Although Trump says that the vice president does not matter on the forefront, which is true, they do matter in making decisions and behind the closed doors on decisions, policies, and things like that. Everyone does have a reason why they're in office and claiming their seat in office, because we're going to hope they do bring experience and wisdom along with them to help her, shall she win this election, get things in order. I will leave you guys with today's fun fact of what state was the first state on the East Coast to legalize gambling? I'll give you a little minute. If you said New Jersey, then you are correct. New Jersey was the first state to legalize gambling on the East Coast, hence East Coast Las Vegas. And the city of the location where the gambling is, you guessed it, is Atlantic City. Atlantic City, East Coast, Las Vegas. I'm sure that your grandparents has plenty of stories, 1, 2, or 3 stories to let you know about their gambling days in Atlantic City. I hope you guys are doing well. We will see you guys on the next video. Thank you and have a great day.